Hey, hello everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello everyone.
Hey, so how are you all? Hope you all are doing great. So I am Ayan Gupta, Android facilitator of GDSC SSTC. So today is the final day of our session of Android Study Jam Bootcamp 2021. So it's a 10th day and hope you have enjoyed our past 9 sessions. And like today we are going to see about the fragments navigation component. So it is also a most important topic of Android development if you want to become Android developer. So okay, so we are going to start that, and we are also thinking after some in January also we are also going to take some more important concepts that we have not covered till now. So if you face any type of things like we have missed this topic, then you can also comment us on the chats so that we can come up with that topic in our upcoming sessions. Yeah, and so now we have our speakers with us, Niket Jain and Yoni Chauhan. So they are going to tell you about the topic, today's topic. So let's get started. Yeah, yes, sir, up to you.
Okay. Niket, please introduce yourself first, and then I'll continue.
Okay, okay. So myself Niket, and I'm an Android developer working at Mutual Mobile as an Android intern. I've been doing Android from past 1 year now, and I love to share my knowledge. I love to do open source and lots of things related to Android. And yeah, uh, over to you, Yonit.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Yonis Chauhan, and I have also been developing Android apps for above an year or so. And currently, I'm pursuing my Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science from SSGI. Okay. Although we have done 9 sessions already, and so today is the 10th session, and we are going to see about fragments. I hope you all are excited about it. Okay, so I think we can start with the session. Okay, yeah, so just get my screen on the stream. Okay, just a second. Okay, so we all know that today's topic is fragments, right? So just let's just start with fragments. So basically, this is the documentation page, official Android documentation page for fragments. Here is a paragraph. I would like to read it out. That a fragment represents a reusable portion of app's UI. What does this mean? Here's an example. For example, in tablets or in larger screens, you can have if it's an activity, it will have a single layout and you cannot play around much, right? But with fragments, you can reuse the layouts and the whole code in different ways. For example, if you have larger space, you can have the fragments to lay side by side. And if it's like a phone screen, you can set the fragments to lay one above the other, right? So that's why the first line says that it's a reusable portion of your app's UI. Okay. Then that it says that a fragment defines and manages its own layout. So just like activity, we had a layout file and a Kotlin file for it. Very similarly, we will be having a layout file for our fragments and obviously Kotlin file for our fragments. So it's just like activity, but it's a different thing because it is used inside of an activity. Okay, so it has its own life cycle. So as we saw, activity had its life cycle. Similarly, fragments also have its life cycle. We will check it out soon. Okay, then it says fragments cannot live on their own. So that means that they must be hosted by activity or another fragment. So though fragments cannot be standalone, they need an activity above it. So there will be an activity, and inside of it, one or more fragments may lie. Okay. Then it says, yeah, that was basically the introduction of fragments. And this is a really cool example of fragments. Another cool example could be your WhatsApp WhatsApp UI, because that is one screen. So that is activity, and inside of which your chats, your calls, your camera, and your status. So all of those can be considered as 4 different fragments. Okay, so yeah, that is it about fragments. Okay, so let's just get into the coding part. Okay, let's get into Android Studio. So, okay, just before that, here is the official page on like how to, it's a quick start page on how to like create a fragment. So first of all, Fragment is also like a external dependency. So you need to add it into your Android project. Okay, so like for Kotlin, you can see that it says this one is, needs to be copied. So here is our Android project. Go inside Gradle scripts and your module level or app level Gradle file. And this is your dependencies. Just copy this line from here for Kotlin and paste it here. And then just here, there will be one sync button. So you need to click those, and fragments will be imported into our project. Other than that, we already saw how to like create a new activity. So right click on the app. Okay, just a second. Yeah, and then click on new, and then you can create a new activity, like, right? So very similarly, here is another available thing for us, which is fragments, and you can click on blank fragment also, right? So like that also you can create new fragments. Otherwise, as we saw, just like activities, we have fragments also. So it also has two parts: layout file and the code file. So just like uh, the activities layout file, the fragments layout file is pretty much similar. There is not much difference in the layout files as such. Okay, so this is a simple layout file. It's colored dark orange for now. I don't know why, but yeah, just for example, I don't know why I picked up orange, but it looks cool for now. And then there's a simple text view which says I am a fragment. Okay, next let's just quickly look into activities XML file. This is the layout file for activity. This is also pretty much very standard. Okay, there's one new XML tag here, which is called as Fragment Container View. Okay, so this was imported during that Gradle dependency implementation here. So this is available to us via the dependency which we have added. Okay, so what does this have? Very basic width and height. It definitely needs those. We have, okay, let me just zoom in. You can see. Okay, so yeah, we have the width and height, which is very standard. It's always required. Other than that, we have an ID. This is also required. Margin is not specific to fragments. So the one single line of code which you see, which is new, is this name field. Okay, so this is the name field, and what does this say? This tells that what is the fragment. Like you can see here, it shows nothing, but for like fragment container view, so it has made a container for us. But now, what is to be filled in that container? That we need to tell using this attribute called as name. So Android name, and then we have to completely specify the path for the fragment file. Okay, or the fragment's name basically. Kotlin file. Okay. Uh, so let's just quickly look into how fragments can be created. So you can simply create a new class, extend it with fragments, and there is one necessary. Okay, this piece of line is not necessary. Only this piece of code is actually necessary. So what is the basic, very basic code? That it says class, give it your name, and it extends a fragment class. Okay. Inside of it, we need to override just this one function, which is called as onCreateView. Okay, you can just press Control O on your keyboard, and you can type the onCreateView, and it will give you the whole code for this. So you need not actually write the whole code here. Okay, the only thing which you need to change actually is the layout file's name, because this is this Android does not know. So it will give you a boilerplate about for the function code, for the functions method declaration, as well as it will give you basic code. But you need to change this to your exact file name in XML, which we have created. So it was called as fragment blank, which we just saw. So yeah, you need to just mention it that r.layout.fragment blank. So this is basically the layout file which will be inflated for this particular fragment. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We did not have to do much work about for it for this thing. Okay, so this is just on create. You can say that there's no code related to fragments here. Okay, only code that is about fragments is present in this fragment file. Okay, and this also has, like, you can create views and then deal with those, and it's very much similar to how you do those in activities. The only thing which changes is that here you extend the app compat activity, and here we extend the fragment file. Sorry, fragment class. Okay, next thing which changes is that here we override the on create method and tell that with what is the activity to be inflated, but the method names are slightly different. Here you need to actually return the view. So yeah, this was this is the very basic of how you can create a fragment. Okay, if other than that, if you see here, I have written much more code. So this is the activity lifecycle methods. In the previous session, we saw how activity lifecycle works. So all of those tags are written here also. I have just overridden those and then just logged some things, just the names of those methods. Okay. Similarly, fragments also have their own fragment life cycles, and inside of it also we have these many, many more actually. You can just hit Control O, and you will be able to see how many other methods are available to be overridden. But for now, we have taken up some basic these names and how you can get to these names. Let me just show you. Okay, so for activity lifecycle, obviously you can go there. For fragment, you can just search fragment lifecycle. Okay, so this is the fragment lifecycle. So this, okay, so yeah, we saw that this is the activity lifecycle. It starts with on create, then on start, on resume, and finally activities running. Similarly, fragment lifecycle is pretty much similar. You can see that it starts with on create, it goes on to on create view, on view created. So these are some new methods. Otherwise, on start, on resume, on pause, on stop, on destroy are common to both. So yeah, these all these methods are overwritten here, and we have added just one line of code to each methods, which is the log statements. Okay, so yeah, if you try to run it now, let's try to run it. Just a second, it will take a bit to do the Gradle build. Okay, anyways, so let's just very quickly recap of what we have done. We have created a layout file, we have created a Kotlin file also, and we have extended it with fragments, and we have overridden this on create view where we tell that this Kotlin file needs the layout file, the width needs to inflate this layout file. So we have mentioned what is the layout file corresponding to this particular Kotlin file. And so this was like a very basic setup, and then what you have to do is you have to simply create a fragment container view and give it the name attribute of the fragment, and it will inflate it for you. So here we can see those in the log cat. You can just do this, and if you saw, I always mentioned this custom check word there. Why? Because I just wanted to filter out. If you remove this, these many logs are available. Obviously we want only the things which we want to actually separate out or filter those logs which we have written. So that's for our uh, concern. Okay, so yeah, you can see that first fragments on create method was called, then activities on create method was called, and then fragments on start was called, then activities on start was called, and then activities on resume was called, and then finally fragments on resume was called. Okay, so because this is an activity, the whole page is an activity, the whole screen is an activity, and this particular portion is a fragment. So you can have many more fragments just like this one, but for example, for simplicity, we have taken just one fragment over here. Okay, so yeah, this was a very basic example of fragments. You can do whatever, like you can have edit text over here, you can have lists over here, you can have recycler view over here. Uh, you can have all those things which are possible under activity. You can have all of those things inside of fragments also. So okay, so just when you press the back button, you will see that the app closes. But what was happening behind the scenes, that first the fragment paused, then the activity paused, fragment stopped, activity also stopped, fragment destroyed, and then finally activity also destroyed. Okay. So yeah, so first it starts with on create and then on start, on resume. So basically, first fragments are created and then activity is created. But when it is going off screen, the first fragments are paused and then activity is paused. Similarly, at the end, fragments are destroyed first and then activity is destroyed. This basically tells that fragment was lying on top of activity. Hence, it needs to be destroyed first before destroying the activity. Okay, this was a very basic example. You can see that we have used this just one line here, that is the Android name under this fragment container view. But here we have used this particular file's name or the fragment's name here. We have mentioned it inside of Kotlin, sorry, XML file itself. But what if we do not know which fragment is going to be inflated here? Just for example, we have our settings. Let me just quickly. So, okay, just let's get back to the overview page. Okay, this was the overview page. Just for example, we can consider that this was a settings screen, and when you tap on each, a different layout or a different screen opens up on the right side of the screen. In this case, we do not know that we know that this is a fragment container view, but we do not know what is the fragment that is going to be inflated there, or what is the fragment which is going to be used there. So for that reason, we also have one more concept of dynamically inflating the fragments over here. So for that, you can just remove the name attribute from this. It just has an ID, basic ID, and all the shape and size, whatever you require. So you can customize those. Other than that, for on create, what we have to do is we have to type in support fragment manager. Yeah, support fragment manager, and then just dot commit. Okay, so this is a fragment manager. This manager is available by Android for us. Okay, so it says that support fragment manager, and then we have to commit something inside of it. What we have to commit is we have to replace. Okay, so we have to replace. Now, what are the there? As you can see, it says that we have two different parameters which we need to pass. One is container view ID, and next is the fragment. So let's just quickly do that. R.id dot fragment example fragment. This was the ID which was given here, example fragment. So we are telling that we have to replace this one, and then what we have to replace it with? We have to replace it with a new blank fragment. Where is this blank fragment coming from? This is our custom fragment which we have just created. Okay, so yeah, replace the layout, the ID of the layout, and then the fragment which is to be replaced. So that which is actually going to be inflated. Okay, so this is the ID which of the layout, and this is the fragment. Okay, yeah, it will run very similar to what we have already seen. There will be no visible changes in the layout or in the logs also, but just the way of writing the code is different. And we all know that we cannot have if else or all of those conditions here in the XML file, right? We need to do that in the Kotlin file. So here you can just have if else, when, or you can have all the coding capabilities which we can use to populate a different fragment inside of that same layout. Okay, so this is like a classic example of what was clicked. Like you can set on click listener, and then you can say that support fragment manager dot commit, and it will commit different things for us. Okay, so yeah, this is again available on our, this has actually run on our emulator, and there's no visible changes here. Okay, again we click back, and the same steps procedures follow. That first fragments pause, then activity pause, finally fragments destroyed, and then activity also destroyed. Okay, so okay, so this was like, these are the two methods which you can follow. Okay, other than that also you can see that other than that also some methods might be available. but we will check those later. I think Niket will guide you through some of those during the his part of what was it? Okay, so he will cover it and his parts. Okay, so for now we have taken up two examples. One, directly we have the name of the fragment which is going to be used, and one where we do not have directly the name. You can have whatever here as per conditions. Okay, other than that, there's just one last concept. Let's just let's see. It is called as add to backstack. Okay, so if you saw that there was an okay, it's closed. Activity was basically the one which was behind, and the fragment was on top of it. But as soon as we clicked back, what happened was that both a fragment as well as the activity closed, and the whole app basically closed because that one was the bottom of the backstack. Okay, so let's just add this to backstack. So you can just call the method add to backstack, and then you have to give it a name basically. Okay, let's just rerun our app. Okay, it will take up a couple of minutes again to do the Gradle build, and then it will show us the app on our emulator. Gets done with it. Just a second. Yeah, this is the logcat, and this is our emulator. You can see that activity was created, and then blank fragment was created. When we used the XML, we saw that first the fragment was inflated, and then the activity was on create was called first for fragment and then for main activity. Because when we use it in XML, Android already knows of what is the thing to be done, right? But in case where we have not mentioned anything on the XML file, we have written it in the Kotlin file, so it gets executed later. And hence, first activity gets created and then fragment gets created. Similarly, all the things follow that on resume, main activity resumed, and then fragment also resumed. So this is the part. Okay, now what if I click the back? Okay, just see there's a difference. When we clicked back, the whole app actually closed. But here we click the back button and see only the fragment is gone. Why? Because we had add to this method, which is called as add to backstack, and then we have given it a name. So what this does, like for example, we saw that when there's an activity one, so that is the bottom of the backstack, and then you create an intent to activity two, so that goes on top of the backstack. And when you hit back button, the top activity removes and the first activity again comes on screen. Okay, very basic example. Let's just take Instagram. You tap on the chats button, you go there, and when you hit back, the chats screen disappears, but the again feed appears on your front. Similarly, there's one activity, there's second activity, and when you hit back, the top activity removes and the original activity comes back. But this activity may have various fragments inside of it. Okay, but when you hit back, all of those fragments along with the activity, everything just closes. But if we want that only a fragment should close and activity should remain on screen, so we use this method add to backstack. So it does what it does is that there's an activity and above it it places a fragment on the backstack. So when you hit back, only the fragment closes and then activity remains. And then if you click the back button again, activity also closes. Okay. So you can see here that on pause, on stop, and on destroy, everything for the blank fragment was already called. And then when we hit the second back button, the main activity also closed. Okay. So I think, yeah, we have pretty much learned about the basics of fragment. We have seen what is fragments and what are the two different ways. We have already seen two different ways of inflating the layout or using the fragments. One is directly from the XML file, and second one is from the code. Okay, so uh, uh, I think that's pretty much it from my side. I think Niket can continue.
Okay, thank you, Yonit. You give a
Yeah.
fantastic explanation about the fragments, and the best part was it you give some margins between the activity and overlapping fragments so that people can understand. So
Yeah.
that was very good. And I would like to add some more points to it. Basically, it will be like uh, it will be up to the viewers. Like they have to go through it and test it by themselves. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. Let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Okay, let's just wait a second. Yeah, your screen is visible now.
Okay, okay. So, in the fragment life cycle, there are two or actually four very important methods you have to take care. One is the on attach, okay, and similar to that, symmetric to that, there is a on detach, okay. So whenever a fragment gets connected to activity, and whenever a fragment gets disconnected to a activity, the host activity, okay. And the other two methods are on view created and on destroy view, okay. So it's the task of viewers to learn more about it and what operation generally we used to do in those two uh, uh, method that I just told you about. Okay, and try to play with the on attach and the on detach method provided by the fragment lifecycle. Okay, so it will be your little homework. Like you, in that way, you will get to know more about how fragment works. Okay, so, while Yonid was demonstrating the screen, he suggested or he used the method support fragment manager kind of thing, right? And he explained how, uh, like, let's say he explained about a example where we have a bottom navigation bar and every screen that we see are actually a fragments hosted on the activity. Okay, so basically, before those navigation component, which I'm going to talk about soon, we used to do things very manually, right? We used to in Java used to make a switch statement that if whenever this value matches, please change my home screen to the account screen, okay, and all that stuff. Okay, so to minimize these things and to uh, make our fragment transaction and the usage of fragment more easier, Google has introduced this navigation component for us. Okay, not only fragments with activities as well, but usually used with fragments more. Okay, so what are those navigation components? Okay, basically it helps us to navigate from one part to other part while with different features along with that. Okay, you can send data, you can receive data, you can add deep links, you can do whatever things you want. Okay, and most importantly, it helps you to manage your backstack more easy way. Like you don't have to manage it explicitly that we used to do at earlier days. Okay, it does it for us by default. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. And if you are like starting with Android, please avoid backstack thing for now. Don't focus on that more. Focus on that what library is doing and try to understand that. Once you get familiar with the life cycle and what library does, you will be then you will be able to understand the backstack more better. Okay, like you will get more insight about it. Okay, so basically uh, i I just wanted to share two more things regarding this navigation, that uh, in Android developers site you will get everything related to any library that has Google has introduced, okay, related to Android, of course. Okay, there is one thing more if you are not aware, those are the code labs. Okay, basically what those code labs are, let's say you head over to a library, okay, and you want to learn more about it. Okay, you just gone through here and you be like, नहीं आ रहा है समझ में कि क्या हो रहा है, कहाँ ऐड कर रहे हैं या कैसे काम करता है. Okay, then you just have to navigate to here. It is a code labs provided by Android team, okay, or even Google team. So they provide you steps to how to start and how to navigate further. Okay, so basically they provide everything in bullet points, everything in very detail. Okay, so that you can learn things more easily. Okay, so if you're not aware, please you can go to any code labs you want. Generally, if I have to learn anything new, I just head over to the code lab and see how a professional has like how professional have done those things. Okay, because those code labs are written by people who have built those libraries and other things. Okay, so they know these things better than anyone. Okay, second, I will be using this fragment and the navigation component code lab. Okay, it is in your Google Code Gem part as well, the basic Android Kotlin training that you are supposed to uh, do and earn badges. If you are not doing it, please go through it. We will provide the link in the description. You can check that out. Okay, go through it, complete all those trainings and earn badges. Okay, for more details you can contact us on WhatsApp and Discord. Okay, okay, so we will see what this navigation component libraries are. Okay, let let's just head back to the document. You can see here are the bunch of dependencies that we have to add, but be very aware that you don't import anything randomly. Okay, there are always steps. Try to read more, okay, and follow according to the things you need. Okay, so you have to import just two of those two libraries, nothing else. Okay, those are for Java and Guava and other things that is not needed. Okay, now with navigation component you have to learn one or two more things. Okay, you are already aware of the navigation graph. Okay, what is it? Let me show you. I hope you are able to see my Android Studio, and I hope you are still facing the issue with the fonts. Wait, let me fix it. If anyone knows Agat Mathur, the Croatian YouTuber, please comment in the. Please let us know through comment. Okay, he is a Croatian chess player. He always forget to make sound of his computer. Anyway, let's jump back to it. Okay, one second. So I was talking about navigation graph. Okay, what this navigation graph is, if we do a breakdown of the words navigation and graph, a graph which shows the navigations of screen from one to another. Okay, so it is a very complex graph for now, not that complex, but it looks let's get to see a simple one. Okay, so here is our navigation graph. Okay, so what we are doing here is we have two fragments, that is a letter list fragment and a word list fragment. What we are doing here is, here we choose a letter, and whenever we choose it, it navigates us to a different word list fragment with the letter we have chosen and show us some data. Okay, now I guess this arrow is not visible. Let me zoom it a bit. Hmm. So, okay, the first step, how we imported a fragment here. Okay, there is a button to do it. If you go up here and press a new destination here, you will be seeing all the activities or the fragments you have in your Android project, or specifically at that module. Okay, and if you doesn't have one, you can create one from here as well, and you can select it and drag and drop it anywhere at your navigation graph. Okay, so I have already imported two. Basically, uh, this code base is taken from this code labs only to show you how code labs actually works. Okay, so they have already imported these two fragments for me, and they have created a action. Okay, now what is action? So you can see a arrow here, right? It shows key whenever I want to change the screen, please navigate to me to this screen, right? Isn't it cool? Like you are able to see where your screen is navigating back to. Okay. For now, we have just kept it very simple. In future videos, we will build a app with a bottom nav where we'll see those fragments and transactions in more detail. Okay, and you can see I can then create a action anywhere from this word list as well. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Yeah. Okay, so I can create a action back to uh, this fragment again. Okay, so let's remove it for now. Basically, I just wanted to tell or share that you just have to create an arrow from the from the point to the destination you want. Okay, and rest Android Studio will do it. Okay, now whenever you add a fragment to this graph or create an action, I'll just recommend you to just rebuild the project. Okay, what it does, it builds like classes for you, the XML files and the other other classes for you, which has already predefined code. Okay, we'll come back to that soon. Okay, so this is about the navigation graph. Okay, let's jump back to the documents again. Okay, if you want those three links, please let us know, we'll share in the groups and other sites as well. Okay, huh. So now you are aware what is navigation graph. You are now currently seeing this navigation editor page of the Android Studio, right? Or basically the screen of it. Okay, so here you define all the fragments and all the things that has been added up here. Okay, and in the middle screen of this navigation editor, you basically see the transaction happening from one to another, and this third one is majorly important. Okay, so let's look at this third one. If I go and press this arrow button, you can see it has provided me a id. The id is action, the action it is doing from list, from letter list fragment to word list fragment. So the name explains everything, that it is navigating, it is making an action from fragment A to fragment B. Okay. Apart from that, you can see there is various option as well, right? There is an option for animation. Okay, so previously in Android, this transition animation was used to be a very tedious process. You have to take care of many things, but this navigation component, you can do animations very easily. You just have to provide values here कि जब enter करेगा तो कैसे दिखना है and जब exit करेगा तो कैसे दिखना है. Okay, we'll talk about it more. Now the most important part here is this one. Okay, so I am actually sending a letter variable of type string from fragment A to fragment B. Okay, basically हो क्या रहा है, we are selecting a letter from this fragment and this word list will consume that letter we have selected and will pop a result for it. Okay, so if you remember, in activity we used to do that with intents, that put extra, put string, get string, all that stuff. Okay, it is something similar like that only. We are saving values in a key value pair. Okay, like there is a key and there is a value. Okay, so we'll see about that soon. Okay, so you are aware of graph, you have seen what is editor is, what we are doing here is there. Okay, this code, if I head over to here and if I show you the code, this code is auto generated by Android Studio. You don't have to do anything. For the those who are beginners, please play with this screen only. Okay, it will generate all those codes for you. Don't mess things with here, then it will lead through unwanted errors. Try to play with here, try to play with those things, and this code will be get auto generated for you. Okay. Now let's get to the main part. Okay, that is, in the unit explanation, he said like a fragment remain hosted upon a activity, right? So now we have defined those two fragments. Okay, and now it's time to define those fragment, like we have to find a hosted activity for us, right? Host activity for us. So in this case it is our main activity. Okay, so you are already aware of fragment container view. Okay, so basically it helps us to transact between fragments. Okay, and these are the things you have to provide it initially. You have to provide it a name. Okay, that is nav host fragment. Basically it tells that this fragment container view is the host for other fragments, that whenever a fragment change, please change over this space allotted by the activity. Okay, now how this fragment will know that we have added a graph, and like how it will know, right? So basically there is a attribute of nav graph where we pass our nav graph. Okay, now you will be having a one question: what is nav graph, what is navigation? We have seen XML, we have seen drawable, what is navigation? Okay, so if you have watched it carefully, uh, there is an another whole another directory named as navigation. Okay, so in latest Android Studio only, with some versions above 4.4 point something, you got this yeah, you got this feature to create this navigation graph for you. Okay, so basically like any other resource, Android resource, this is also one of the resource, that is navigation. Here we have created a nav graph. Okay, like how we create a string, how we create a menu, we have created a nav graph. From there we have added those things. Okay, and one thing I also wanted to share is, in the in the letter list fragment, there is an icon of home. Okay, so basically what it tells is that whenever we have to load something, or we have to load something by default, this letter list fragment will be pop up at first. Okay, so this will be the default fragment loaded whenever we open our main activity. Okay, so in main activity, you are aware what is default nav host, what is name parameter attribute, what is navigation graph. Rest you are aware already what is width and height. Okay, we have provided it a ID nav host fragment. Be very careful about this ID. You use it correctly. Okay, cool. So only these things are required. Okay, now if we head towards the main activity. Okay, we you can see there is a letter list fragment and word list fragment. Okay, So basically these fragments are using RecyclerView, and you are already aware of RecyclerView. Those RecyclerView are using two adapters. Okay, these two adapters to pass the data or to the show the data. Okay, adapter is a basically it manages all the data things for your RecyclerView. Okay, we'll talk about RecyclerView in more details in upcoming session. If you are just able to make it and make it work, that is a huge progress. Like it's already done thing. Like it's not much there. Okay, so things to take care while working with the navigation components are this nav controller object. Okay, this nav controller is the thing you will see everywhere. It does all the jobs for us. Okay, it navigate, it sends, it receive, it does everything for us. Okay, so you just have to define this. Okay, now what I'm doing here is we have used view binding here. Okay, no, basically we have used data binding in this project. What is data binding? Leave it for now. Okay, this is a whole new concept, we'll talk about it soon. Okay, uh, 1 second. So yeah, you remember that we created a nav host fragment. Okay, we are telling that please pop up, please set that nav host fragment as this id. Okay, so basically basically we are setting the controller, telling that this is our host and this is and setting, basically we are setting this nav controller while telling that this is our host fragment. Any transaction or anything that has to be happen should be happen on this host fragment. Okay, that we have defined here. This is here. Okay, so basically we are setting the container view for our nav controller, and then uh, we are just passing it to the this set of rules. Okay, this function method. Okay, so don't worry about it what is doing, there are various way to do it. Basically what we are doing here is we are setting up the action bar and the backstack option. Okay, why we are doing it? Because it is the example given by Android developers code lab. Okay, there is lots of way we can do it, which will go in further more. Okay, you just have to, for now you just have to consider and learn more about what is nav controller. Okay, what is nav host fragment, and that's it. Like uh, कौन कंट्रोल कर रहा है और अपन ऑपरेशन किस पे कर रहे हैं, वी हैव टू जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट देयर आर वेरियस वे टू डू दैट. Okay, but the most easy way is to go with it. Okay, so we pass it the nav controller and that's it. Okay, we generally, this line handles all the click listeners and all the things for you. Okay, so I'll just run it and show you. So this is the 1 second. Wait, let me run it again. Okay, if I select something from here, let's say n. Okay, now it will show me words with matching with that alphabet. Okay, name, news, not now, number. If I hit news, it will open a, it will open a chrome for me. Okay, not a chrome, basically a browser for me with that news as a keyword. Okay, we can achieve that using implicit intents that we have learned earlier, right? I hope you remember those things, those concepts. If I select anything else, it will do it for me. Okay, so isn't it very cool? Like we have just defined 3 or 4 lines of code. We doesn't define कि इसको यहाँ से कहाँ जाना है, इसको वहाँ से क्या करना है. It is doing all that stuff for us. All those data has been transmitted in the uh, navigation graph. Okay, so we can select anything and then we can go back to the Google. If we don't want to, if we want any another word, we can choose it from here. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Like it is nothing very special. Okay, this is basically to navigate up. If it doesn't find anything, it will just use the system navigate up. Basically this navigate up is this button. Wait, I'll just show you this button. Okay, so it handles this button by this code. uh, and yeah, that's it. There is nothing much in this. uh, hmm. One second. One thing I want to share is, okay, basically it is our recycler view. Okay, recycler view, you are aware we get 3 methods that are the get item count, on create view, on create view holder, and this on bind view holder. Basically we do all the click listener things at this on bind view holder. So basically what we are doing here is, we are basically what we are doing here is, you remember I talked about the actions before. One second. Those actions before, right? Fragment to world list fragment, this one. If I head over to it, letter list fragment to word list fragment, actually we are using that in our adapter. That that this class are actually generated by, whenever you make a rebuild, whenever you make changes in your nav graph and you rebuild it, Android Studio creates those class for you. Okay, so we are saying that whenever this transmission happen, like I had from here to here, send me a letter. Okay, what is that letter? Letter is nothing but the text value that we are hitting at a certain point. For example, if I hit k here, it is transmitting that k value as a string to another fragment, right? And it is using that k value to populate those lists. Okay, so if we see at the other side. Okay, I guess is what here. Yeah. So basically, what we are saying is, we have created a latenate var of letter ID कि जब भी हम उस fragment में enter करेंगे navigate होके. So you are already aware about this on create method explained by Yonit, and on create view. Okay, there is on view created as well, which I was talking about. Basically in on create view, we all do the initialization of our views and set values to it. Okay, and on view created is called whenever your fragments view are created successfully. okay, then only you want to do certain initialization, right, and do some operations. So currently what we are doing here is we this arguments is a attribute provided by navigation components, and we are checking if it contains some values or not. Okay, now how we will like differentiate between कि कुछ दूसरी value तो नहीं आ रही. So at this beginning I talked about that key value pair, right? So this letter is the key. कि कोई भी चीज जो लेटर से रिलेटेड है उसको इस वेरिएबल में आप दे दीजिए. So we are using this letter id, passing it to our adapter and getting our data back. Okay, so if I show you, if I select, let's say y for unit, and let's do some yoga, so you will see all those things here, right? So again, from where I got this code, I actually took this code from here. Okay, I didn't go through it. I just take that code, what they are doing. I can show you how you can do this as well. There is their GitHub repos where you can take this code. Okay, you can just zip it or you can just clone it from here. Like every steps are mentioned here. If you face any difficulties apart from this code labs, the basic Android Kotlin code labs, you if you feel any difficulties, feel free to contact us anytime. We will be happy to help you. Yeah, so that's it. Like whole concept is like this. Let me recap. uh, One feature was that nav controller and other was that navigation graph. In navigation graph you tell your nav controller key how to navigate all those screens, right? Then you put your navigation controller with the hosted fragment view and you set it up, okay, with those value. Now to do certain operations, we use that nav graph, and at the provided, at the right side provided field, we provide our value. Okay, and it depends totally upon the features or the way you want to navigate it, right? So it was a basic walkthrough. How can you use that? You can go through this whole documentation. Okay, it is basically what I explained to you with more details. You can have a look. You can have a look at those code labs, and yeah, congratulations. Now you know how to play with activity and fragments, and all with that you know how to make a API call and define your recycler view, right? It's completely all those things you needed to start with Android. Okay, uh, over to you, Yonit. Let me know if I missed something.
No, no, I don't think that you missed anything. And I hope that both mine as well as Nikit's explanations were clear and you learned something new. Uh, okay.
Just wanted to share one thing. We are having a network session now. Okay, and please if you are free, please join us. Share your views about Android or what you have learned today or anything in general with Android. अगर Android का नहीं भी बात करना, we can talk about anything else. Okay, so feel free to do that. Ayan, please share the links with the viewers and we'll see you there. Sorry,
Yeah,
Yonit, if
I
I
will share it.
Sorry, Yonit, if I interrupted you. If you want to share something else, please go ahead.
No, no. I just completed whatever I had to say.
Okay.
There's nothing more.
Uh, I just want to add one more thing. Sorry, those things are not scripted, so we just scramble. So
Yeah.
basically, this is the last session for this month at least. Okay, we are planning to continue this great community work uh, from January onwards. So you have a huge gap, like you have like almost 15 days. Okay, try to watch these videos and try to build something. Let's come up a little more stronger, because at the next session series the topics will be little hard, and if you doesn't know the fundamentals there is a no point of watching that. Okay, so in those 15 days utilize those things and uh, try to build something what you have learned. Okay, without copying anybody's code. Okay, yeah, over to you, Ayan and Yoni.
Yeah, so definitely. So this is all about like our Android bootcamp. And like our speakers has said, like I, sorry, I have earlier also said that like if any topic you feel like it gets skipped, like we have skipped, and you can also like message us, and like we will let you know about that also. Like we are also going to come up with some more topics in January. So so till that, enjoy our past sessions and today's sessions, and like hope you will learn a lot of things from us, and like implement it. And I'm also a new in Android field, so I'm also going to learn from this video only. And hope you are like exploring code lab and implementing things there. And yeah, great. Yeah. So
Actually, the
like
next session will be done by Ayan only. So be ready.
so yeah, I
The
will be
recap of the 10 days will be done by
uh,
Ayan.
yeah, I will be prepared for that. Yeah.
Please share
So
that
yeah.
Gmeet link also, Ayan, if you have those
Okay. Okay,
links
sir.
ready.
So I will share the link on the WhatsApp group. Like I can't see here many people, so I will share the link on the WhatsApp only. So,
Okay.
and just make sure you will join our coders evoke, like what we have also said in earlier sessions, like we are going to create some open source projects where you can contribute also. And like if you have any ideas related to any type of Android project, so just just share with us. We will be come up with more exciting project. Okay, so thank you guys. I will share the link on the WhatsApp group so that you can join and ask your doubts, all the queries there. So for now, tata bye bye.
Bye bye.
We will
Take
meet
care.
again.
Bye.